千里之行，始于足下。A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together.
So once upon a time, there was a group of tree frogs living in the forest. One day, these tree frogs decided to have a contest. They wanted to see which frog among them could climb the tallest tree in the forest. So they looked at this tree. It's a giant tree. It's so much taller than the other trees. It seemed so intimidating. They started talking among themselves. They said, "Listen, this is too difficult. This is just way too difficult. We can never climb to the top of this tree." They said, "Yeah, the tree is just too tall. It's not possible for any of us to succeed. This is foolish." So upon hearing this kind of chatter, quite a few of the frogs gave up the chance to enter the contest even before the contest began. The rest that have decided to stay in the race, they started to race to the top of the tree, climbing up. As they climbed, the difficulty of the task became clearer the higher they went. This tree was much taller than the other trees they knew. So it seemed more and more unlikely that anyone will be able to succeed to make it all the way to the top. So the chatter among them increased and expressed feelings of discouragement. They said things like, "I knew it. I told you. Isn't it obvious? None of us can get to the top." Or, "So why are we doing this? Do we really have to? This is such a bad idea." Upon hearing, repeating, saying these things, quite a few of the tree frogs got even more discouraged and dropped out. That's it. I'm out. I'm out of this race. You guys keep going. Count me out. So it went on like that. Negative chatter, people dropping out, it became elimination by attrition. The frogs dropped off one by one until at last there was only one last frog standing, or climbing, I should say. He kept going up, and after a tremendous effort, he reached the top. Everyone is stunned. All the frogs were amazed. How could this be? How is this possible? How could this one frog succeed when all the other frogs failed? So the champion frog came down from the top of the tree. As he came down, all the frogs rushed ahead to surround him. They said, "Hey, that was amazing. How did you do it?" And they said, tell us, give us your secrets. What is your secret to climb all the way to the top when everyone has failed?" The champion frog did not respond to their questions. Strangely, he didn't even react to them calling out to him. After a while, all the frogs finally figured out why. The champion was a deaf frog. He couldn't hear anything. The end. With that story, I think now you can see why Lao Tzu talked about the wind and the rain. Yes, it could be adversity in life, bad luck, mishap, or it could be, like it is in the story, the critical voices from all the negative people around you. So it's all about communication, the wind and the rain. And people who don't know the Tao, which I think is going to be the majority of people around you, well, they just don't know when to stop complaining, judging, and criticizing. They don't know anything about the complaint-free world that we discussed last time, and they are not like nature, where the wind and rain will stop after a while. They don't know how to stop because they're not aligned with the Tao. Of course, the champion frog in the story is deaf. This story is not actually suggesting that you become physically deaf. I hope everybody understood that. I hope you didn't get the idea that you're supposed to be deaf. The story is definitely suggesting that when you know the Tao, when you understand and apply the Tao, you can shield yourself against all the discouraging, pessimistic, depressing words and thoughts that people inflict on themselves and on you. So remember, people can say whatever they want, but your path is still your path. It's yours to choose and yours to walk. You have the sovereign power to process what other people say, to determine the meaning and significance of what they say, and discard the stuff that are useless for your purpose, your vision, your goals. So the reason why Tao masters will sometimes tell this story is because, as I mentioned, it's a recurring theme. It's what Zhuangzi wrote about when he wrote about the flight of the giant pain bird. As the pain bird takes flight on this 1,000-mile journey, this majestic flight, small insects and little sparrows look up from ground level and mock the pain bird in flight. And they mock the pain bird because they don't understand. You know, why is the giant pain bird taking on such a long journey? They have no idea why. It's outside of their experience. It's beyond their understanding. So people are similar. They cannot understand the thinking of the Tao cultivator. When you cultivate the Tao, you literally become the great pain bird. You become the pain bird who understands that the long journey takes time and it has to be completed a little bit at a time. Most people are looking for shortcuts, the powerful secrets that won't require any time commitment or effort. So let me further address that. So to be able to process that which is incoming and then be able to stick to it, that is, have faith in the Tao, this is really the advanced level of the Tao, the secret technique of the Tao. It's the secret that isn't a secret. Now, people looking for shortcuts, people looking for the powerful secrets, this is not unique to the West. It's not unique to the New Age movement. As per my previous remark, human nature is the same all over the world. So there are so many examples that I can find about people wanting something for nothing. In fact, previously I talked about this very famous author in Taiwan. She became extremely popular. She appeared All her books were had become bestsellers. She became a regular guest in television programs. She had frequent book signings, and her fans will show up. She was like a rock star, but in the literary world. People would listen to her talk about her craft, of authoring, of being an author, and they would hang on to every word. They would listen carefully, and they would try to learn from what she was talking about. And then after her talks at these book signings or gatherings, she will be surrounded by fans, and they would have all kinds of questions for her. So in her later years, she talked about how a kind of question became very frequent, and she cited one example as a typical example. So in that example, there was a fan that came up to her, and he said, "I love all your books. Can you tell me the secrets to becoming an author like yourself? And please, don't tell me I have to read a lot or write a lot. I've already heard that from other authors. How about from you? Can you tell me a way to become like you without reading a lot or writing a lot?" Well, that's the mentality at work. That's where most people are at. That's the contrary mentality to the Tao. So what most people are looking for is the shortcut. And here's another example that I'll present to you. This is also from Taiwan, from my childhood in Taiwan. It's such a universal weakness to seek shortcuts. It manifests in all different cultures. And let me show you this example here. Okay, I appear to be showing you a picture with a couple of books. Well, these are not just any books. These are the powerful secret kung fu manuals that appear in martial arts novels. So we have 九阴真经. That's the true sutra of the 9 yin. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a very powerful manual that will teach you secret techniques of kung fu so you can defeat all your enemies. 降龙18掌, the 18 palm striking techniques that will allow you to defeat dragons. So these appear in martial arts novels and movies all the time. And the story follows a predictable pattern. The pattern is that the hero, the protagonist, will by luck come across these secret manuals that have been kept away from other martial arts experts. So the protagonist will learn from these secret manuals and gain extraordinary kung fu prowess, and then defeat the bad guys. Well, this is the same mentality as the person asking the author about the secret of becoming an author. It's another way to represent how you can be really powerful without doing the work. Now, I know for a fact that the power of the Tao practice is real when it's done properly. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I can demonstrate it on demand. It really is true that mastering the Tao makes you far more effective as a person consistently. This shows up in your life as an ability to do far more with your life than most people. You may live a typical lifespan, let's just say 80 years, but effectively you live twice as much as other people within the same time frame, because you can easily have multiple careers that take place simultaneously. You can maintain your hobbies and your balance in life, taking care of family, friends. So it literally is like you've lived twice as long and enjoy a lifespan of 160 years. It really is true that by living in accordance with the Tao, you can maintain youthful looks and energy levels well into your senior years. So this and being able to live more than most people, it all seems like magic on the surface. So people are constantly looking for the secrets that will grant them the same thing, even though it's right in front of them and it's rather unglamorous. It's just the discipline, sustained discipline over the long term that will take them to the realm of effortless excellence. Now, I mentioned that this is a universal human weakness, and I'm using examples from Asia, 九阴真经, 降龙十八掌. What about in the West? Well, I will use one example. Just as in Asia, it's part of the fabric of pop culture, it's the same thing here in the West. Let me show you this slide. So you may not know what this is. Let me explain. This is a test pilot, the main character, Hal Jordan, test pilot, coming across a wreck of a UFO, of an alien spaceship. Inside the wreck, he discovers an alien who has a green gem in his hand, who's about to die, who says, "Do you accept this duty?" Well, he's talking about the duty of Green Lantern, the superhero. So, spoiler alert, the protagonist accepts the duty and becomes the superhero by finding this gem, which grants him all the superhuman abilities associated with that superhero. So this is a different trapping, different style, but it's the same thing. It's the same reflection of the human need to look for shortcuts, to look for that one powerful secret that will grant you everything. Unfortunately, that powerful secret exists only in Kung Fu novels, Kung Fu movies, and comic books, not in real life.
Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us travel safely. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.